the great experience is Psycho.
Yeah.
Psycho will scare you today. You know, there's some films that lose their luster. They used to, let's say, terrify when they came out. Psycho has not lost that luster. It's timeless and terrifying. You know, the idea that you can check into a motel, take a shower, and get stabbed to death. Suspense. Mm-hmm. You know, the thing that leads to true horror is suspense. And without suspense, there is no horror.
Psycho. Think about it. Psycho began the modern horror film with a literal slashing scene. Mm-hmm. Shook, shower, chukka, 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 began.
So do you feel that Halloween was kind of a continuation?
It wasn't a continuation of it, but it was a movie. I certainly knew that Psycho was in my background in terms of movies I had to think about. Mm-hmm. That had some spooky things in it.
Now, being such a Hitchcock fan, did the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis was Janet Leigh's daughter have anything at all to do with the casting?
Deborah brought that up, thought that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Isn't this cool? It was okay. She read for the part. She was absolutely fabulous.
There were some musical scores that stood out and that really fit what I was watching in a unique way. I saw films of Alfred Hitchcock, Bernard Herrmann, who's one of my favorite composers. My influences came from classical and movie scores.
Right.
Bernard Herrmann, more than anybody else, because he did maximum effect with simple means. So I was stupid enough to, try to emulate him, and not emulate musically, but something very simple stuff, right. Sometimes repetitive stuff. They each had musical signatures to their movies. Sometimes silence in films is more powerful than music. It all depends.
I suppose he's been the main influence. All of us who've worked in any kind of suspense or fantasy have been influenced by Alfred Hitchcock. He's not only known for his dark humor, but I think it's his use of montage and fast cutting to arouse the audience and put them in suspense has been amazingly influential.
I'm not as enamored with Hitchcock as everybody else is, nor am I that enamored with, nor am I overly enamored with Psycho. Fuck Janet Leigh in Psycho, but Anthony Perkins is my fifth. Janet Leigh can hold a flickering birthday candle to Tony Perkins. Okay, but we're talking about performance. Yeah, I mean, the fact, in real life, Janet Leigh is only okay in that movie, and she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and Anthony Perkins wasn't nominated.
He wasn't?
No, he wasn't. Fuck Janet Leigh. So you can't even say, oh my God, I can't believe Anthony Perkins wasn't nominated. And then you realize, oh, it's worse than that. Janet Leigh was.
So there's actually another bit in Psycho that actually is closer to something else I wanted to talk about. I think there's one moment in a movie, and I think it's a profound audience moment. In Psycho, there's the moment where Anthony Perkins is disposing of the car. And he dumps it in the lake, and it's sinking, and then it stops. And then you see the look on his face. Okay, just me describing it, that's a nice bit unto itself. The profound part of it is the audience wants the car to sink.
Yeah. he's eating a snack as well, isn't he? Chewing on a nut or something?
He's eating a snack. But you want him to get away with it. You don't want it to stay there. You don't want him to get caught by the cops. You are willing the car to go down in the water. You're worried for him. You're worried for Norman Bates at that moment. You want him to get away with it. You want him to dispose of the dead body of the heroine of your film.
Fuck Janet Leigh.
Could you still play an audience the way Hitchcock can? They do, but it's a different audience, and it's a different plane. See, the audience has been raised on films which are very loud, which have a climax every 2 seconds. The scene with John Gavin and Janet Leigh in the beginning. What do I do with my the element there is the bra. Okay. But it's shot very simply, but ominously. There's something ominous about it. The scenes in the office are kind of all right, you know, with that Texan. For his style, the blandness of the scenes and the blandness of the framing is just really a kind of a bridge to get you to the next major moment. I think his instinct is right in telling stories like that. How benign can we make these images that just connect the dots? The best scenes for me are ones he must have spent time on, the driving shots. You had to spend time on those, particularly the points of view somehow. And the framing of Janet Leigh in the center of the frame with top of the steering wheel and the bottom of the frame. Because you can make a choice. You can go above the steering wheel, you know, or you can go further out. But then maybe you won't see her eyes as well. So that's like the perfect size. The scene with the policeman. Of course, the framing of him staring into the car. Yes, we know with the glasses he's scary. But there's something about the restraint of those frames. See, and the more you restrain, the better it is when the explosion happens. And on the way to the explosion, there are these meditative states driving. And there's a sense of movement ahead. She steals money, then she decides to drive away, then she becomes guilty about it. Then she meets this guy in a motel and he's telling her all his problems. You're watching, you want to know what happens. She's going to bring that money back? Now, what is Anthony Perkins really going to do? You know, he has his mother there. Maybe there's going to be this whole thing going on with the mother and him and her. And I mean, you're taken down a path. But what's great about it is that all your expectations are taken and turned upside down at that time. As it is now, we expect certain things. And it took storytelling at that time and says, no, I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to give you something else. Because you think everything is so cool. You're the end of the 50s, the 60s are going to look glorious to us. I think it was really important for where we were then. You have Vietnam, you have World Revolution, you have everything that happened in the 60s, and the society has never been the same. That picture really touched upon that, I think, Psycho. Of course, you want everything so neat and wrapped up. Well, life isn't like that. Even the stories I'm going to tell you are not like that now.
No, I mean, the screenplay is pretty impeccable, I have to say. Mm-hmm. You know, and it was, and I also it was, I think, the first Hitchcock movie that I also got to see on the big screen. I think they were doing a retrospective at Film Forum when I was still living in New York, and that was like incredibly satisfying to see, like, kind of the genius of some simple things of contemporary for the period, like costume design and production design, like just in the opening scene in the hotel room. You know, just like the detail in something really simple. But you know, I mean, Hitchcock is sort of what was kind of like I didn't go to film school, you know, and Hitchcock in some ways was like the best film school in teaching you like what really are the rules. You know, I think. You know, I would say, like, I studied his catalog when I was trying to learn film grammar, like really closely. And Psycho was the movie that I've probably seen. I mean, I've definitely seen the most out of all of Hitchcock's films. I'm sure I saw it in high school. I sort of don't want to talk about Nosferatu. But like it's been discussed a lot that I did a play of high school with my good friend Ashley Kelly Tata, who's now a theater and opera director, and I remember watching Psycho and The Shining, you know, in her living room, sitting on the floor, you know, and being really inspired by both.